Today we're going to be talking about graphing and coordinate planes. The objective for today is the student will be able to graph ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. In the beginning of the year, I created a seating chart for my classes. I created 5 rows of desks with 4 desks in each row. Brian sits in the 3rd row at the 2nd desk, or 3-2. And DeWanda sits in the 2nd row at the 3rd desk, 2-3. Are these seats the same? No, not at all. The seats 3-2 and 2-3 are called ordered pairs because the order in which the pair of the numbers is written is important. Who is sitting in desk 4-2? We're going to go over 4 and up 2. This should be student N. That's correct, student N. Ordered pairs are used to locate points in a coordinate plane. This is the coordinate plane. It's made up of a y-axis, which is the vertical axis, and the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. In an ordered pair, the first number is going to be your x-coordinate. That's the horizontal axis that we already talked about. The second number is going to be the y-coordinate, which is the vertical axis. We're going to graph -3, 2. And if we do it the way that it says to, going over 3 first, 1, 2, 3, there's where -3 is, and up 2, 1, 2, that's where our point should be, right there. And it was. What is the ordered pair for A? If we're going to take a look at the graph right here, we're going to go over first because you always start with the x-axis. We're going to go over 1, and then we're going to go up the y-axis, which is always second, 1, 2, 3, and we should have 1, 3 as our answer. What is the ordered pair for B? I'm going to do the same thing again. Even though it's down here, you still start across the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, and down the y-axis, 1, 2. So it's going to be 3, -2, which is option 4. What is the ordered pair for C? We're going to go down, we're going to go across our x-axis first, and you can see C is on the line of the y-axis. So there's going to be a 0 where x should be. And we're going to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer for this one is going to be 0, -4, which is option 1. What is the ordered pair for D? Again, going across first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 1. It should be -6, -1, which is option 2. Write the ordered pairs that name the points A, B, C, and D. Now this is something I'd have the students do on their own. So moving on. The answer for A would be 1, 3, B, 3, -2, C, 0, -4, and D, -6, -1. The x-axis and y-axis separate the coordinate plane into 4 regions called quadrants. As you can see, quadrant 1 is made up of positive x, positive y, 2 is negative x, positive y, 3 is -x, -y, and 4 is positive x, -y. As long as you can remember that you always start up here on the top right corner, then it's going to go around counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4. Name the quadrant in which each point is located. -5, 4. So if you can remember that which one I said was -x, positive y, then you would know the answer right away. However, for the first one, we'll go ahead and go back and we'll look at our graph. Now we're looking for -5, positive 4. So a negative before the positive is going to end us in quadrant 2. So quadrant 2 would be your answer. The next one, -2, -7, those are both going to be negatives, which means it's going to end up in quadrant 3. And the last one, which is 0, 3, if the first number is on 0, that's your x, so the point is going to start at 0 and then go over 3 what quadrant or axis would it be on? We'll go back to our graph for this one. So if it was 0 and then 3 over, you're going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to be on your x-axis. And that's the end of our PowerPoint presentation. So next I would have the students break up into pairs, their shoulder partners that they already know, and we were going to be playing Graphing Battleship. I'll go ahead and read the directions for this. I'll also attach it to my lesson. Here's the directions. The student will demonstrate an ability to graph ordered pairs. The student will demonstrate both visual and verbal recognition of ordered pairs. Materials that you'll need: Graphing Battleship activity page, which is also given in this document, manila file folders, one for each student, Battleship instructions, which are here, 2 colored pencils per student to keep track of hits and misses, as well as a pen and a highlighter. The instructions: after setting the boards up, using a pen to mark the locations of your ships on the coordinate plane on the bottom part of the folder and highlight them. Remember not to show the other student what your board looks like. Ships can be a diagonal, vertical, or horizontal. It's all just going to be ordered pairs, so it doesn't matter. As long as all of your ships are on your graph somewhere, you'll be able to play the game the right way. Decide who will go first. In this case, the youngest is going to go first. Begin guessing where the other student has placed their points. This is done by calling out a single ordered pair. So you're not going to count out 3 or 4 ordered pairs at a time to get a whole ship. You're just going to count out one at a time. The opponent will call out hit or miss. So if you hit it, then great. You hit that and you can guess around to find where the rest of the ship is. And if you missed it, guess somewhere else. If the player gets a hit, they put an X on the coordinate that was specified on their top graph. The opponent puts an X on the bottom graph. If the student missed, they put a dot on the specified coordinate on the top graph. The opposing student does not do anything if a miss occurred. Use one colored pencil for hits and the other for misses. If a player has hit the last dot on the ship, the opponent should call out, "You sunk my ship." The first player to sink all of the opponent's ships wins the game. So here's an example of how to set up your ships on your graph. There's some questions that can be asked beforehand. What are the parts of a coordinate plane? How are ordered pairs written and plotted? Which the students should already know the answers to because we discussed all of it in the PowerPoint. During the game, are the ordered pairs being communicated properly and plotted properly by the opponent? This is while the teacher is circulating around. You can go up to different pairs of students and make sure that they are doing everything correctly and ask these types of questions. And after the game, what type of strategy did you use for plotting points and sinking opponent ships? So again, this will occur after everybody's completed the assignment and the teacher can go through and review with the students everything that they've already learned. And here's an example of the blank graphs. It has the different kinds of ships that the students will need and how many spaces those take up, how many points they're worth, and the game is set up 2 ways, so your ships will be on the first graph and your opponent's shots will be also located on the first graph, and your shots for your opponent will be located on the second graph. And there's 2 sets right there for you. At the end of this, I would also assign the students homework. I would like them to go to the PHAT website and find the graphing simulation, and then they're to do a lab write-up on it, which I will give them directions printed out on a worksheet for them to fill out their lab write-up, as well as tell them how to find the simulation. Thank you.